In this lecture, I will teach you how to set up the net for a Roundnet. Step 1 is to gather the pieces. For the spike ball sets, all of the pieces fit in a backpack that they send you when you buy the set. This makes it easy to keep all of the pieces together. Once you have gathered the net, the legs, and the rims, get ready to put together your set. Step 2 is to assemble the frame. The fastest way is to start with the leg and put the 2 rims on, and then build outward from one side of that. Put another leg, another rim, another leg, another rim until you're done. Of course, these first 2 steps are going to be the exact same for both net setup methods. But the third step, attaching the net, is where the difference is going to come in. For this method, you attach the net in 5 equidistant spots, meaning that there's the same amount of space between each place that the net is attached to the rim. In this example, I'm attaching the net directly to the left of each leg. Do your best to try and make sure that you leave the same amount of net in between each point that you connect to the rim. It will take some practice, but once you get used to it, it's quite simple. Once you have attached the net in 5 different places, look at it really quickly and make sure that it looks pretty even between all of the points. If it isn't, take a second and readjust it. This is really important when we start the next step, which is to attach the net all the way around. Now that the net has been attached in 5 different places and the net looks about equal, start from one point, it doesn't matter, you can start wherever you want, and start attaching the net as equally as possible to every single hook. If there was enough net left between each point that you connected the net originally, you should be able to make it all the way around without reaching any spots that are too tight. Once you've connected the net to every single hook on the rims, it's time for testing the net. There are a couple of different things that you can do to test the net. As you can see here, one of my favorites is to hover over the middle of the net and drop the ball directly onto the middle. As close as you can get it to the middle, the better. As you can see in the example, mine kept bouncing to my right, your left, so I had to tighten the net. If it hits the middle of the net and bounces straight up, then your net is doing pretty good. Do it lots of different times to make sure that you're getting the middle of the net and to see what it looks like. If your ball is bouncing in a certain direction, there are 2 things you can do. You can either tighten the net on the side of the net that the ball is bouncing towards, or you can loosen the net on the side of the net that the ball is bouncing away from. If you feel like your net is still kind of loose, it's best to tighten the side that the ball is bouncing towards. But if you don't feel like you can tighten any part of the net any more than it already is, then you should loosen the part that the ball was bouncing away from. This isn't an exact science, just try your best. To make it a little bit easier to tighten the net, you can use one hand to pull the net towards you to loosen the spot that you're working on, and then you can place the hooks farther up the net, and then when you let go, it'll be tighter. The other thing I like to do to test the net is to put my hand on the pockets and run it all the way around. If there's a really loose part, you should tighten that part specifically. And if there's a really tight part, then you should loosen that. Try and make it about equal all the way around. Then once you've done that, you can do the other test again and bounce the ball in the middle to see if it helps. Keep varying between these 2 until the ball is bouncing up from the middle about as straight as you can get it. Then you're ready to play. Removing the net isn't necessarily hard, but I thought I'd quickly show you something that can help make it go quicker. After you remove the first couple hooks, if it's tight, you can use the same method that we used earlier. If you use one hand and pull the net towards you, it'll loosen the spot you're trying to work on, and then you can take the net off those hooks. Once there's some slack, you can start pulling up with one hand and removing the net off the hooks with the other hand. And after you're about halfway around, if you pull in between several hooks and lift up with your other hand, you can remove big sections instead of just one hook at a time. As you get more slack, you can do more hooks until eventually it's all the way off.
If you'd like to learn more about the sport Roundnet, how to play it, and how to improve, please click on the link in the description, which will take you to a website called Udemy, where you can enroll in a course that I created specifically for that purpose. Thanks so much for watching.